Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Noobster back with another Outriders video. So, haven't posted too much Outriders, but honestly wanted a little bit of change from Wonderland since there's not too much going on. And I also have to grind all the way over to Chaos 100. So, hopefully I'll do that soon and bring out some more Wonderlands content for you guys. But for the time being, we're going to play a little bit of Outriders. We got a build ready for you guys, so let's hop right into it. So hopping right in. So for starters, we're actually using one of the newer sets for the Trickster. So here is a quick look at the skills we're using. So we're starting off with Venator's Knife. As you can see, the cooldown is insanely low. We're using Twisted Round. This is obviously a firepower build, so Twisted Round is a must. And last but not least, we're using Hunt the Prey. You guys know the deal. Hunt the Prey is great for just getting our ammo back and things like that. So those are the quick rundown. You can see the cooldowns are not even that bad, even for twisted rounds. 11.3 seconds. If you do by accident reload or run out of ammo, didn't use Hunt the Prey or something, it's perfectly fine. You'll get it back relatively quick. So with that said, let's take a look at the skill tree. So hopping right into the skill tree, we did go Assassin. So this is all firepower. We started off with a couple of the regular damage nodes, so arms, trick, uh, armor piercing is not really a huge help, at least from what I'm thinking. But we didn't want reload time because if we do accidentally reload, we can cancel, and we don't want this to be quick. So we mainly went into Ace of Trumps just to skip Bullet Storm. Death probability, again, increased weapon damage. Arms trick again, those are just some of the key nodes. Deadly Shadows is a good one. This is going to be for critical damage. Hair is one of the most important nodes here. Shotgun Master, we are going to use shotgun, so any sort of shotgun is good for this. Next, we have a little bit more into arms trick. Now, these next two nodes, Executioner, Outrider Executioner, and Disruptive Firepower, those are the key reasons why I am using Venator's Knife and Hunt the Prey. Now, originally, I did want to make a build with Hunt the Prey and Borrowed Time, the other skill there. And the only reason I didn't was because then we wouldn't be proccing the extra 35% damage from Deception skills. So instead, I went ahead and just used one of each. So Hunt the Prey here, and then Venator's Knife, and you get a bonus 70% total, actually. And it says for 8 seconds because our cooldowns are extremely short, 8 point or 3.8 and 4.2. We are basically constantly having this 70% uptime. You just have to be, you just have to remember to actually use these skills every time you get them so that you can constantly have this uptime. Next, we went into Singularity. This is going to decrease our cooldown a little bit. Not that we really need it. As you can see, we did skip Equilibrium. Not a big deal. We already have huge cooldown, so it's not going to help us too much. Next, we went into Foreseen End. So whenever attacking enemies from behind, you're going to do increased weapon damage. So, Trickster, whenever we use our Hunt the Prey, we are going to go behind the enemy. So that's a very good skill to have. It's going to do extra 20% damage. And next, we have Death Probability again and Arms Trick again. Again, these are just classic damage nodes that you want to go into. Another one into Equilibrium, not really a must, but honestly, there's not any other things that you can really go for. Next, we already went into Foreseen End, and then Bounty Hunter. This is going to increase our weapon damage against elites. Very nice. This is just going to increase our magazine size. That's also awesome to have. Shotgun Adept. This is a very good skill to have. This is going to increase our shotgun weapon damage. And last but not least, Cold Calculation. So for each enemy in close range, your weapon damage is increased by 8%. Just a nice capstone, not the best thing in the world, but it does the trick and does give it a little bit of extra damage. Let's take a quick look at our packs tree. So as you guys know, we get 5 points. So here is how we spent them. Triggerman, so your damage is increased by 15% for each skill on cooldown. So I think we can only have 30 because since we're going to have Twisted Rounds constantly up, I don't think it counts as a cooldown. So Venator's Knife and Hunt the Prey, whenever you have them, 30% extra cooldown. 30% extra damage for each skill down. Now, the only bad part is we're going to get them back really quick. So you're not going to have a lot of uptime unless you're constantly spamming. So that is one key thing you have to do. Next, we went into lies, deception. So whenever we activate deception, we're going to get a little bit of shield. Not the greatest thing in the world, but you know, we're trying to go all the way to the end, and it does the trick. It's nice to have. Same with failsafe protocol. So whenever our health drops below 30%, we're going to get a little bit of extra shields, a little bit of extra damage mitigation. It's a nice, you know, safety blanket and sort of keeps you alive a little bit longer. So it's a nice skill to have. Not the worst thing in the world. And then next two are our key skills here. So goals beyond understanding. So in some of the gameplay, you'll see our damage to bosses just like a huge chunk, and that's because of this. So damage done to elites tagged with deception skills has a 25% chance to be increased by 200%. So occasionally I will tag them with our Venator's knife, and they will just have a huge chunk of their damage, like, of their health bar, sorry, just get eliminated because of our shots. It's you'll see it in the gameplay. It's kind of crazy. So it's a very nice skill to have. Again, it only works on elites, and it's only 25% of the chance, which is still not bad. 1 in every 4 shots. But yeah, this is a really nice skill to have, and makes our damage a lot higher. And last but not least, Meticulous Schemer. So this is going to be sort of our AoE, and we have a little bit of AoE from our guns themselves. But whenever we activate a deception skill, we're going to do 200% of the killing damage on enemies. So if we one-shot one enemy and there are a bunch of enemies around him tagged with a Venator's knife, boom, they all pretty much die. It is insane, and it works really well. So that is our packs tree. Let's take a quick look at our Ascension points. So a couple things I would prioritize: anomaly damage, weapon damage, of course, close range damage, damage against elites, and critical damage. Those are the 5 things I would prioritize. Next, I would go into magazine size first. But yeah, I mean, and then there's a little bit of survivability. This is going to be just, if you are struggling with survivability, I would definitely try to spec into a couple of these. And then you could try to go down some of the others. But regardless, if you play this game enough, you're going to unlock all of these. I, unfortunately, have not played this game enough, so I still have a lot of points to go. But that is a quick look at all of our class tree and packs tree and ascension points. Let's take a look at what we're actually using. So here is the gear. As you can see, we're using the terminal velocity set. So we have 3 out of the 3 pieces equipped, so we are getting the bonus. The bonus is pretty much the reason why we're using this set. Basically, whenever you're moving, so, you know, rolling or sprinting or using borrowed time. Unfortunately, we're not using borrowed time, but we are using movement skills with Hunt the Prey. You are going to get up to 80% extra weapon damage. It does decay, but we're constantly rolling. Try to do the same if you do use this build. It will make your damage like crazy. I kind of just do it out of sheer habit of rolling a lot, but regardless, it's really good damage, and I'm constantly proccing my skills anyway. That includes Hunt the Prey, so yeah, we're sitting up there in the 80s pretty much all the time. But yeah, it's a very cool set. Honestly, the one of the big bonuses for me is I love Phantom Dash, but I can never find myself to using one of my, what are they called, mods for Phantom Dash, but it's honestly one of my favorite things, and this just straight up gives it to you if you have 3 out of the 3 pieces, so I'm always Phantom Dashing. It's awesome. Let's actually look at some of the things we got here. Now, I did get very, very lucky with a lot of this, so I'm telling you, if you don't have all this stuff, I completely understand, and it is very luck-based, but I'm sure there's a lot of alternatives, so don't worry, it's not the biggest deal. So for this one, we have Cut Them Deep. That is our mod that we actually put on this. So elites marked by the knife receive 30% extra damage. So elites are obviously the bigger problem in Outriders. I feel like this is a really good skill to have, and it kind of works a little bit like Captain Hunter. So I really enjoy the skill. Next, we have Personal Space. This is just going to be something that's on the cowl itself. So you can keep that standard. You're going to always be close up because we're using shotguns, so this is a nice bonus to have. And luckily, I was given Tainted Blood on this, so a very, very awesome skill to have. Honestly, works insanely well with the rest of our gear. So Tainted Blood is giving us an extra 16% of damage when enemies are afflicted with bleed, and it works fantastically. Next, we are actually using the Trigger Twitch coat. Don't let the transmog misguide you. It's just a transmog. This is the Trigger Twitch coat. The main reason we use this, first off, the actual chest piece for the terminal velocity set, it has a hunt the prey skill that I really don't think matters too much. Now, getting frozen is probably the worst thing in the world, so if you do want to use this, I wouldn't blame you. But personally, I don't care too much, and I would rather have more damage, so I don't care about decontamination. And gun shield overall is just pointless because we're not using borrowed time. So instead, I opted for this. Crit stack is a great one to have. We did put instant reload on this. You guys can, put these mods wherever, but I would say definitely get instant reload. That is a must-have mod for this build. And we were lucky enough to roll Stare into the Barrel. So, yeah, more firepower for close range enemies. A very good, bonus mod to get. There are other alternatives like Bloodlust and things like that. So you can get other things. Stare into the Barrel is definitely not a must-have, but it is a nice thing to have because we are going to have a lot of enemies getting to close range with us. Next here's our second piece for the terminal velocity set. Now, I did make a mistake with this piece, and I did want to point that out. So luckily, we did roll Vein Ripper. So Vein Ripper basically, as you can see, whenever you deal critical shots, you inflict bleed. So you guys can sort of see the synergy with Tainted Blood. And then we have one more piece that is a very lucky roll, and it also synergizes with bleed. We'll show you that in the next set, or in the next gear. But basically, we're going to inflict bleed through our critical shots. So whenever we aim for the head, boom, they're bleeding. Now, the mistake I made was I put Strong Twist on the second mod. Now, this originally rolls with Radiation Jump. So Hunt the Prey inflicts Vulnerable. That's actually not the worst thing to have. Vulnerable basically gives you more damage, or whenever an enemy is vulnerable, they take more damage. So it would have been much nicer to have. Right now, we're just kind of wasting a mod with no time to cooldown. We're not even using borrowed time. It's a waste. Strong Twist is awesome, but I wish I could reverse this and put Radiation Jump back on and remove that no time to cooldown. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Vein Ripper is really nice to have. But yeah, so that is what we're rocking with. Next, we have Gauntlet of the Cannonballs. This is from day one of the best gloves. Comes with Captain Hunter. We put on Mitigation from Death. And here is the third thing that I said works insanely well with bleed. Vampiric Mag. So whenever we kill enemies that are inflicted with bleed, we're going to replenish ammo. Now, I will say, Vampiric Mag is not the greatest when it comes to shotguns, simply because there are going to be times where you one-shot enemies, so you're not going to even have a chance to inflict bleed on them. And if you're just spamming those shots, you're not going to realize you're going to reload accidentally, and boom, you'll lose your twisted rounds. So I will say, if you can, try to avoid it. Try to get the lower chrono suit, the ammo bargain mod. If you can do that, that is definitely way better than Vampiric Mag. But for now, Vampiric Mag is what I got. It's a decent roll to have. And last but not least is Footwear of Terminal Velocity. Here's our last piece of the Terminal Velocity set. We went ahead and put Shatter on this. We'll show you why in the guns. And this rolls with buckshot shells, which is perfect because we are using shotguns. And this rolled with a tier 1 mod for Venator's Knife. Not the best thing in the world, not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, if you could get something else, I unfortunately do not have anything better on my other terminal velocity footwear, so I kind of just use this. But again, there's definitely ways to make this build better. Don't make stupid mistakes like me with, accidentally switching the wrong mod. So, but yeah, I mean, otherwise the build does still work very, very well. All the gameplay you're going to see, this is the exact gear. I have not touched it since I recorded that gameplay, so don't even worry about it. As you can see, I haven't even maxed out all of my things. I can go and level all this gear up to 62, and it would make it way better. But regardless of that, I'm still able to melt bosses. I'm still able to just destroy them entirely. Next, the guns. I have leveled these up all the way to 62, so don't even worry about the pistol. You can use whatever you like. This is just what I have. I just put it because I think I like the way it looks. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely just trying to get one that's 62, just so you're not, your average is pretty good, and you'll get more firepower that way. But the two guns we're using the Evening Star and the Phalanx. These are not like the only guns you can use. You can definitely use a Death Shield. That's a great option. But these two work well in that. So first of all, the Phalanx. This is our mobbing weapon. Now I do use it in the boss that has those immunity phases, and you have to go on those little timer. Not the timer. You have to basically charge up those little. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's the second to last boss in the trials, but yeah. Except for that boss, I do use this because you are gonna have mobbing phases in between the boss killing. So instead, I just rock with this. It melts bosses. I put ultimate freezing bullets on this. This rolls with bone shrapnel. I don't honestly remember what the other tier 1 mod or the tier 3 mod that it rolls with, but I don't think it was really that important, so that's why I got rid of it. And then I was lucky enough to roll Dark Sacrifice. Now I would say Dark Sacrifice is definitely amazing. So if you can, and in fact, I will say that is definitely a must-have. You don't have to have ultimate freezing bullets because, it's possible that you don't want to use shatter. I completely get that. But yeah, I would definitely put Dark Sacrifice. Bone Shrapnel is really nice to have because that too is going to inflict bleed to enemies that are close by. So I like Bone Shrapnel, but again, I would say those two are probably the main. Ultimate Freezing Bullets you can do away with, but it is a nice thing to have because we are using Shatter. Now, the Evening Star actually rolled with Ultimate Freezing Bullets, and that's the main reason why we put Ultimate Freezing Bullets on this, and then we put Shatter on our foot gear. It's because we realized we have freeze on this gun anyway. We might as well just synergize with our whole build. But again, it's not necessary. If you have ultimate fire bullets, ultimate toxic bullets, all of that works. You can put euthanizer, you can put burning kindle, all that other stuff. You just want a little bit of extra other elements so that you can use things like shatter, burning kindle, all those things that are going to do extra damage on those specific status effects. So that's the main reason why we put ultimate freezing bullets. That's going to be procced a lot. But again, as you can see, we also put Dark Sacrifice on this. And we have Death Renome, which is also going to synergize very well, if you guys remember, with our Pax tree right here with Triggerman, right? So because of Death Renome and Triggerman, they basically have the same thing. Your damage is going to increase when you have skills on cooldown. So we are going to be spamming quite a bit. This is going to be our boss killing weapon. So as you can see, when I have those cooldown, or when I have my abilities ready, boom, I'm using them constantly. It procs Triggerman, it procs Death Renome. You just constantly spam those abilities. It's gonna work out in your favor. But that is pretty much it in terms of all the gear. I hope you guys do like this build. It took a little bit of time to make, but honestly, I haven't even leveled up that much, so I was able to get a little lucky with the gear. But I hope you guys do enjoy this video. If you want a little bit more Outriders content, let me know. I know this game has kind of died out again, so I will be sticking mainly with Wonderlands content. I will also be exploring other games. Hopefully, I'll still put out a lot of Wonderlands content. Might even put a few Borderlands 3 videos, just because I may just get the DLC and put a little bit of time into that. But that is all for now, guys. Unfortunately, since this is Outriders, I can't really post this build in my files or anything. But if you can replicate it, please do. It is a whole lot of fun. And if you're still into Outriders, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what they could do to bring back the player base. I know this game constantly, loses its player base, which is rather unfortunate because I still think it's a fun game. It's just it doesn't have too much content even after the big DLC. But it is what it is, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the video again. And if you're new, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that fun stuff. It really does mean a lot. And yeah, watch out for more videos. Hopefully a Wonderlands video will come soon. But anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.